Is it true that a long time ago, firemen used to put out fires and not burn books?
Hello, my name's Duncan and welcome to Back Away from the Donkey and Bath Books. And today is a Tag Tuesday. And I was tagged by Gavin at Genre Books to do the Hounds of Love tag, which was originated by Aaron. Aaron reads a book, so pop across to see those guys. And I will start off by giving you a bit of sort of history of myself with Kate Bush and Hounds of Love. As much as I was a big metalhead in the 80s and 90s, my taste did go off in things, and Kate Bush was one of the ones that did. So I bought this album when it first came out on cassette, and I still have the cassette, which I will show you. For the younger viewers, I'll show you a picture of a cassette, a compact cassette up there. And the interesting thing about the compact cassette was at the end of it was on two sides. The end of the first side, they had a 12-inch version of the track running up that hill. I now have a CD version of it, and if you're too young to know what I'm talking about, it's a way not to download things. You actually own them, people. You do. So yes, and my claim to fame is I actually saw Kate Bush live. Well, live for one song. I went to see Peter Gabriel on his So tour, and he had Kate Bush come on for Don't Give Up, the song for Don't Give Up. And my claim to fame is I was probably the only person in the whole of Earl's Court wearing an anthrax spreading the disease t-shirt. That's probably what my claim to fame is. So anyway, I have questions all here, and my answers, just so I don't forget them, because I went through them. I have some of the books that I was going to mention here, not all of them, because it's what I could be sort of dig out. So the first question is Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God. A book mentioned by a character in a TV or a film. Originally I was thinking Seven, because they mentioned the Divine Comedy, but now I thought that's too easy. So then I thought, I suppose this one's too easy. Fahrenheit 451, Ray Bradbury. In the film, Montag, he decides to become the book. Sorry, spoiler. Tales of Mystery and Imagination by Edgar Allan Poe. So I thought, yeah, that was a good one. So that's my pick. Sorry, that ping was my phone. Sorry about that, but I am not redoing it for that. That ping was my phone. So yeah, so that's question one. Question two, let's have a quick look at the list. Hounds of Love, a book featuring a four-legged friend. Obviously, we've got City by Clifford Simak, the wonderful Dogs and Robots, What More Do You Want? The Wonderful City. I've also got the one I read last year, Nigel by Monty Don the Gardener, about his beloved golden retriever, Nigel, which is fantastic. And I'm going to put another one, but I've not read it. I've only got a copy of it because I was after Zorro books, and it's called The Bark of Zorro. Did I put the name of the author down? No, but I'll put a picture of the book up there. It's called The Bark of Zorro, and it looks like some rom-com about romantic thing. But I thought I need to read this. I haven't read it yet, but it's got to be worth reading for the title, hasn't it? The Bark of Zorro. Next question. Question 3. Big Sky, a book with Sky on the cover. Okay, this is a bit of a push. Okay. Bit of a push. Sorry, shuffle my books around. Bit of a push. Oop. All my books falling over. It's Everest the Hard Way, Chris Bonington, the climber. And, okay, look, there's a bit of sky at the top there. Maybe not huge amounts of sky, but there's sky. And it is a really good book. It's about when they tried to do which side of the Everest? 1975, they went up I wrote down which chance it was. Southwest face. That's it, southwest face of Everest. And he'd already tried it once and already failed. And this was before and their mother went and took before Everest was really opened up. What is really interesting about this book is when he talks about people who have died on Everest and bodies they come across, and it gets quite grim at points. But if you like a good, not adventure book, I suppose it counts as an adventure book, a good book about a real life sort of challenge, this, well worth a read. It's technically out of print, but I think they did a special version a few years back, but that was printed in India or something I came across. But anyway, yes, that's Everest the Hard Way by Chris Bonington. Next question. Let's look at the list. What's the next question? A Mother Stands for Comfort. A book with a parent-child relationship. I'm going to pick The Martian Child by David Gerald. And this is almost semi-autobiographical because David Gerald adopted a son in 1995. But so bits of it go on his experience with that. But this is a story about a guy, science fiction writer. Yes, he's really played into my life. Adopts this child, and it's about his relationship with this child he adopts, but also the child claims that he's a Martian, and that the Martians put a tadpole into the mummy's tummy, and that's where the Martians came from. And he finds out that there's lots of other kids around the country that have the similar sort of story, and they've never met. So it plays on the thing is he or isn't he a Martian thing. Not spoilers, but I wish they'd gone into the Martian bit a bit more, but maybe that's just me wanting my science fiction brain. But it's a lovely story about a relationship between a dad and his adoptive son. So it's well worth reading. So that's David Gerald, The Martian Child. And then Cloudbusting, a book where psychology or psychoanalysis is important. I'm going to go for that easy one for me. Foundation, Isaac Asimov, with psychohistory, the thing of judging the psychology of mass people, which he sort of made up. It's a bit of a MacGuffin, but not technically a MacGuffin, because a MacGuffin is technically an item, but a plot device to get to talk about this. But yes, you all know it, and everybody should read Foundation. Well, all the Foundation trilogies. But if you watch the Apple TV series, it bears no resemblance to the book in reality. So next we come to what on my cassette was the second side of the cassette, and it's called The Ninth Wave. And to me, this is the pinnacle of the album. The whole of this side is the pinnacle. To me, it's the best part of the album. And The Ninth Wave was is it the first poem in Tennyson's The Idylls of the King about King Arthur? But I've got a copy of it here. It is wave after wave, each mightier than the last, till last the ninth one, gathering half deep and full of voices, slowly rose and plunged roaring, and all the wave was in a flame. And that's in the Coming of Arthur part of the Idylls of the King of Tennyson. And I do love me a bit of Tennyson, but the whole of this side to me is absolute pinnacle of this album, and actually of all her albums. Though I have a big soft side for the kicking side. So the first question in this part 2 is Under Ice, a winter book or a book that takes place underwater. Couldn't think of any underwater ones, but takes place in ice. We have The Anvil of Ice by Michael Scott Rowan. And this is part of the winter, what's the whole thing called? The Winter of the World, and I think there's 4 books in them. I've only read this first one. And it's a fantasy series that people seem to forget about. I think it might be under Fantasy Masterworks now. And it's set in this world that's basically winter and ice and snow. And this young boy, they're always orphan boys, he gets captured when the village where he's in is raiding, and he goes off and he ends up being taken away and being trained as a blacksmith. And these blacksmiths all have special powers, and it's following that. It's quite difficult to describe. I've only read the first book in this. It's a set of books. I think I read this about 2 years ago. I need to get onto the second book, but I've got a bunch of series of books that I've still got to catch up for and work out where I am and where I'm reading them. And if anybody's interested, I could do a video on the series I'm partway through that I've never finished, and that I may or may not finish. Drop me a line down below if you're interested, or tag me up on my Discord channel, and just if you'd be interested in me telling you all that. So yes, so that's the Michael Scott Rowan. And if you look at this wonderful Ian Miller, the artist and the covers. The second book I've got an Ian Miller painting, and I think the third one I don't own, but I will get the one with the Ian Miller covers on. I have got a signed print from Ian Miller, great artist. And you know me, I'm all for artists. Sorry, hiccups. Then, Waking the Witch, a book that features witches or witch hunts. Okay, this is another sort of sidestep one. I'm going to pick Golden Witch Breed by Mary Gentle, which is a science fiction book, but it's about this woman who is an emissary to another planet that has this rich culture and it's only just opened up so that the galaxy can sort of trade with them. But they have this like ancient society that they known as the witch breed, that they are scared of coming back, that cause lots of massacres and things going in that kind. And it's a very slow book, but it is probably one of the best sort of, not first contact, probably second contact books of Onto Another Planet that I've ever read. And it's all the political machinations. And it starts off and you feel like that the people on this planet are very human-like. And the more it goes on, the more you realise, no, their culture is totally different. I can't recommend it highly enough. I remember it. There is a sequel, which I cannot remember what's called off the top of my head. But the first book is, you can read it as a one-off if you want to, if you don't want to get involved in the series. So that's Golden Witch Breed, Merry Gentle. So next question. Let's have a look at the list. Watching You Without Me, a nightmareish book. I'm going to pick Job, a Comedy of Justice, a Robert Heinlein book, which is one of Heinlein's later books. And it's about this devout Christian who gets, on a cruise, gets turned by this Norwegian dishwasher, and they end up getting trapped around in time in the galaxy by Loki, the god of mischief. And it's a very, very bizarre book, but just like Job in the Bible, chucked around just as they feel like they've got things sorted, they get thrown somewhere else through time and space. It's quite a hard book to describe, but I really enjoyed it. I've not read it for quite a few years, but it's another book I bought when it was released, I think in 83, I think it was. But it's one of Heinlein's last books. I don't think it's his last one, not his last one that was released when he was alive, but it's well worth reading. It's not Heinlein's normal stuff. It feels quite different. I can probably do some research and give you a better summation of it, but I might have to dig it out and reread it. So, next page. I think I missed a question by hand. Excellent. Oh, yes. The first one on ninth wave. I missed a question. It's a book that sent you to sleep, or about sleep, or sheep. So, okay. This is about sleep and sheep. Do androids dream of electric sheep? Philip K. Dick. One of my many copies of the book. And it's about electric sheep, really. Electric sheep feature in this book. So yes, maybe it was a tenuous link to that question. So that was actually meant to be at the beginning of the ninth wave questions, because I've just done question 4, and that was question 1. Question 5, Jig of Life, a hopeful book. Weirdly, I'm going to pick Ray Bradbury, Martian Chronicles, because the ending of this, to me, is incredibly hopeful. And it's a great book, and everybody should read some Bradbury, because his prose is beautiful. Question 6, a book not set on the planet Earth. I'm going to pick one I've just read, Arthur C. Clarke, Earthlight, which is set on the moon. And it's about the moon taking control of its own destiny, because it's been not colonised, it's been sort of a subsidiary of Earth for quite a while, and it's about them taking power of it. And it's Arthur C. Clarke, so you get all the great science, and it all feels real, and it's really, really enjoyed it. But quite a short book, it's been about 120, 130 pages. But yes, Earthlight, Arthur C. Clarke. And then we go for the final question. The final question is The Morning Fog, a book about being rescued, or about fog, or that makes you happy to be alive, or featuring dancing, or about Kate Bush. Okay, I'm going to pick James Herbert's The Fog. Okay. And the cover I'm going to show you, I didn't dig out my version because it's in a box somewhere, is that one there, that I cannot believe that was on the shelf in W.H. Smith's. But it's about a fog that comes in and sends everybody mad and disgusting, and it is brutal, it is pulpy, it is vicious. There is some dancing naked people, chopping people's heads off and things, so I hit that one as well. But if you like some sort of darkness in your life, it doesn't make you happy, let's go for James Herbert's The Fog. And he was a really, really interesting guy as well. But yeah, so that's the wonderful Hounds of Love tag done by Aaron, and Aaron reads a book. Thanks to Gavin for tagging me. I will tag some people below when I think of some names that I can't off the top of my head. So thanks for the moment, and I will speak to you all very soon, and I'll see you again in another video. And bye for now.